Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video, and today we are continuing my series on the God event with this ultimate Piccolo here. Just really enjoy this guy, he's an absolute beast, and I recorded this one after Dbz Gogeta came out, so he kind of took Picon's slot, so Dbz Gogeta in here. So right now we're going to go up against Beerus. Now I just was listening back to my first video I recorded, and I said it was going to be like a 3-part series or whatever. I was mathing really bad that day. It's going to be a 4-part series, because if I'm doing 3 stages per video, it's going to take us 4 videos to get all 12 in. So this is part 3, so we're doing stages 7, 8, and 9 here. And then we'll do the last one, which will be 10, 11, and 12 coming up, right? So Beerus, I remember, he was kind of tough back in the day, right? He can hit pretty hard. But in today's meta, I mean, Piccolo's just going to stomp all over this guy, right? So we'll kind of see how the fight goes. The thing with Beerus is, I remember in this phase here, I think he can even multi-super. You can see not hitting crazy hard, but this Beerus has a rage mode. And so when this Beerus goes to rage mode, 1, I think his typing changes, and then 2, he hits pretty darn hard in that rage mode, right? So here's AGL Gogeta kind of going crazy with double 5 mil attack stats, looking pretty good there. Now, at the time I'm recording this video, this one's going to go up a little bit after I record it. We could know more later on, but as of right now, we've had the newest data downloads on global. No sign of EZA selling Gohan, which is a real big bummer. Really thought they were going to come out now. I would say this, like, there's still like a chance they could drop, like, you know, on the 16th or like next week or whatever when other stuff comes out, but I would say, whereas before my expectations were higher that they were coming and it was just going to come in the data download, since they did not come with the maintenance data download, like, now my expectation is they're not coming, and then if they do come, it will be a nice surprise at this point. The thing with Gohan and Cell, like, you know, on global, like, yeah, it's an expectation that, you know, we get stuff later in JP. Like, I'm used to that, right? But what I don't like is when they do weird stuff like this, where the units could get stuck in limbo, right? Like, this is a situation where it really seems like they're getting released for New Year's, right? And Global's having New Year's. So it's like, what celebration would replace this? Like, where would they come on Global? And that's the part I don't like, is when these units kind of get left in limbo. Now, Pan there took a shot. So you see Beerus can hit hard if we don't dodge. So Pan definitely took a shot. And that was before Beerus exploded. So if Pan, like, say, didn't dodge one of these, we definitely could be out of here. But we got Piccolo. Piccolo's got insane healing. He's what, 1,000,000 defense. Look at that man. 1,000,000. I just had to like pause on this screen for a minute. 1,000,000 start of turn defense. Look at us, 2 green orbs, and we just got like 20% of our health back for 2 orbs. If we had gotten 4 or 5, probably would have been a full heal. And look at that, just with our natural rotation, we healed a bunch. And Piccolo here at 1,000,000 defense, I don't think so, Beerus. I really don't think so. Yeah, double digits, and gave key to the rotation, and a 17 mil attack stat. This is Piccolo on the insane turn, where he's like fully built up, but still within his 3-turn buff range. That's why Piccolo looks so insane there, and that was awesome. Very awesome. And I'm pretty sure Gamma 2 just cleans up with type advantage at the end. But anyways, back to this anniversary stuff. But like, when these units, like, when they do like same time stuff, or like global exclusive stuff, or JP exclusive stuff in like weird spots, these units can get left in limbo. And I think a really good example of that is LR. The LR Metal Cooler Army card has still not Easy 8 on global, and I want to say they've been Easy 8 for almost a year on JP. Like, it's been forever. And the thing is like, by the time we get them, they're like already phased out. Like, sure, they're going to be a fun little unit you can run with Carnival Metal Cooler, but that cooler team is so stacked, where would you ever find room for this unit, right? The only place, like, you're going to find real use for the LR Metal Cooler Army is if you're running the free-to-play Metal Cooler team, because they want all Metal Coolers, and if you're like a free-to-play player, this is a better free-to-play Metal Cooler upgrade you can add to the team. But here's the thing. For a free-to-play player, you still kind of have to be a veteran, because you buy this guy with Battlefield coins, and if you don't have a lot of Battlefield or Ultimate Clash revenue, like, you still aren't going to be able to get this guy maxed out. So, I don't know. I'll definitely try him. We'll do a showcase on him when he actually drops. Hopefully he's held up and is still kind of good, but man, with this power creep, it's kind of like those EZA Blue Vegetas I just did showcases on. Like, they are fine units for, like, when they came out, but getting them months later after all this power creep, they just look so bad now. And so I was probably more down on them maybe than I should have been, but it's like, when there's this much power creep and the unit is getting released after Orange Piccolo and they look like that, like, I'm sorry, but that's not acceptable. It's just what happens when, and I've talked about this, Gogeta here, by the way, being a GOAT, like, dodging out, fat attack stats, guaranteed crits, like, Gogeta, yeah, done. Beerus out of here. So, there's Beerus. Now we're going to be moving on to stage 8, right? But, yeah, it's just like, there isn't a lot of use for these units, and the thing with the Vegeta is, like, they're summonable units. It's not like they're free-to-play units. I would say, you know, I still have yet to do my showcase on the free-to-play EZA AGL Gohan, but I've seen showcases, and that unit kind of reminds me of what the Vegetas are doing, if not maybe a little bit better in some cases, and that's a free-to-play unit. And a lot of people showcasing him say he's unacceptable for what he is. Now, I'll give my judgment. I don't think that Gohan's that bad. It's just he has the standard problem that any free-to-play unit gets when they don't have utility. So, and it's the same problem those Vegetas have, where some of them are like wanting to be damaged units, but they don't have enough defense or damage to warrant being on rotation. Now, 2 of the Vegetas have support, which is cool, but once again, they're very restrictive, and their teams aren't super relevant. But at least with the Vegetas, like the STR one having support, we'll definitely take that, right? All right, so now we're fighting Liquor. So let's focus on the fight here. Liquor, I remember, was one of the harder fights originally. And I don't remember what the main teams were at the time, but I remember that, like, AGL units were pretty big, and this guy being tech makes it hard, right? And I think, like, when the Ginyu Force came around, people were running the Ginyu Force into this, and this guy would maybe give you a little bit of trouble, but Ginyu's too busted, right? But we're going to handle Liquor just fine. But you can see, these gods aren't necessarily pushovers. We've definitely taken some damage in this video, right? The thing is, and I think I mentioned this in video 1, like, we can take a shot for 380k. We can take a shot for 400k because our team has 600k HP. So a lot of these shots, you know, if you go back to the 170 meta, and even back then, some of it was like some 170 and then defense 130 or HP 130. Like, your HP pool was so low that 380k would maybe outright kill you back then. So even if you had busted units like this that can tank, you could still take enough damage to die if you don't have enough HP. So HP is definitely a good thing to have. Piccolo here popping off the 13 mil. I mean, there's no denying this guy's insane. It does make me a little bit more sad because people are talking about AGL EZA Gohan in the same sentence as this Orange Piccolo. And it just makes me so jealous of JP right now because I can't use that guy for myself and actually make that judgment. Does he compete with Orange Piccolo? Now, I think Orange Piccolo is going to kind of be on his own tier for a while. Just because even if units can look like him offensively and defensively, they don't have the Orange Piccolo transformation. The Orange Piccolo transformation, I think, is what is going to give Piccolo a little bit of a gap over anybody close to him until a new unit either gets so much better offensively or defensively, or they get some type of rage mode that competes with Orange Piccolo. Until then, I think he's going to be on top for a while. But when you're talking about, like, Carnival Goku, and some of these other, like, top tier, you know, like LR Cooler, some of these other top tier LRs, I think Gohan is definitely in that mix, right? I think even to some extent in Cell, especially after transformation. I'm kind of curious to try them out for myself once again and see how they're doing. I really like, you know, it's nice to watch a showcase and see them, but I really like feeling their power for myself. It just feels different when you're using them. You get a better feel for the unit. You can try them out in different situations, right? Here, we just hit our game over button, which is Orange Piccolo. And that's the thing. If you're in any type of hard content, if you're on the last phase of the fight, you can just pop this bad boy out, and you know you're good to go. Even on something like Red Zone Broly, like, you can just Orange Piccolo the AoE phase, which most consider to be the actual more dangerous phase, which is good. I believe on my Broly run, which I believe I have a Broly run on my channel, a no item run with Int Pan who can't dodge, by the way. I got a no item run done there pretty much. What it was I think I used items, but the enemy didn't end up supering me, and I would have been fine had I not used that item, right? So it was a potential no item run, but I just played it safe and used an item. But even in that fight, I mean, I think what I did was I did Orange Piccolo on the AoE phase, was able to get through that, and I had a second Orange Piccolo to use on the final phase because AGL enemy, Orange Piccolo, he cooks against AGL enemies. So it was really nice seeing that damage, but it's the first time I've ever had the Broly fight feel easy. Like, the Broly red zone to me has consistently been one of the hardest fights in the game because of that AoE phase and he blocks dodging. Like, that Broly, like, if you want to talk about, like, units aging well in terms of, like, you know, units you're using, we can talk about bosses aging well for difficulty. Broly, red zone Broly is a boss that will age well for difficulty because he cancels dodging. You know, I would say it's going to get to the point where people might argue Broly's harder than Cell Max, just for the simple fact that there's a bunch of units releasing that gets buffs against Cell Max. They do a lot more damage. We're getting a lot more powerful dodging units like AGL Gogeta that just simplify the fight. AGL Gogeta, by the way, with those guaranteed crits, look really good against Cell Max, even at type disadvantage, is provided he dodges, right? Obviously, he can clap him up with a normal pretty good if he doesn't dodge, but if that Gogeta, you put him in the right spot, he gets the dodge when you need it, he's going to be dealing heavy damage to that Cell Max. So I think Cell Max is a fight that's progressively, like, Cell Max by far has been a harder fight than Broly, but I think as time goes on, Cell Max is actually going to get easier, whereas Broly's going to stay more steady in terms of difficulty, if that makes sense, right? So you can let me know what you think of that discussion. But yeah, I think eventually Broly, if he hasn't already, could surpass Cell Max as actually being considered the harder fight. Now, Orange Piccolo basically just negates anybody right now. Right now, I don't know if there's a fight in the game I would consider too difficult with Orange Piccolo. Like, he's just good literally everywhere. He's built so well because even though he's a build-up unit, they give him tools in his kit with the guard and the extra stats for the first 3 turns that he's good in, like, Super Battle Road, like turn 1. Like, he can tank in there. If you've got a full superhero rotation, he can Orange Piccolo very quick in a fight. So this Piccolo isn't somebody that's just good in one mode in the game. He's literally good in every mode. You wouldn't use him in World Tournament, but you might even be able to make an excuse that he's fine in World Tournament too. Like, he might be able to tank that World Tournament stuff. Who knows, right? That's about the only place that this Orange Piccolo, I'd say, isn't the craziest, is like World Tournament. But everywhere else in the game, he's good. Meanwhile, Liquor has been liquefied, so he's out of here. So let's move on to Stage 9 and see how Orange Piccolo... By the way, we are on an 8-for-8 streak here. No item run, first try with the same Orange Piccolo team. The only exception is that 7th slot unit I've been playing around with. So I think in my first 2 videos, it might have been maybe just my first one, I was using Piccon. Then Gogeta Easy-Aid, and I'm kind of liking Gogeta in place of Piccon. Now, Gogeta doesn't give support, but he does way more damage, and he's way less of a defensive liability. Because Piccon, he has a much lower dodge chance, and if he doesn't dodge, like, you are, like, can be one-shot. Like, in my first video, I was taking super attacks that probably weren't that dangerous, and Piccon got hit for, like, 300k. So, we have to be careful with our boy Piccon. He's still good. It's just, sometimes it takes him too long to get to that Ghost Usher turn. But if you can get to the Ghost Usher turn, you're consistently getting your orbs for support. Piccon is still good. I'm just kind of liking, for really hard content, is provided I can dodge, I'm liking Gogeta in that last slot. And if you can't dodge, I definitely don't want Piccon, because Piccon needs to dodge to have some viability there, right? Unless you get really lucky and you think you can just, like, hold out on him. But yeah, I basically just running this exact same team build. And here's the thing, God Event can be even easier than what I'm making it, because you can run stuff like double Tech Khalifa and she 100% dodges, doesn't matter if she has a leader skill, but that's just going to slow us down. We want to be aggressive. This fight's doing nice for us, by the way, giving us our Gamma rotation right away. If you guys saw in my first video, my part 1 of this, I think the first 2 fights gave me like the worst, ugliest rotations. The units were so far apart, I couldn't get proper rotation set up until I think the very last turn. But this fight's going to go very smooth. If my Gammas are linking up, they're getting additionals, they're building up right away, they're going to be putting in some work here. Probably the biggest thing I see in the comments since I've been making these videos is people like wishing they have the Gammas. And you know, if you didn't get them, it's a bummer. And I know some of you came in after the Gammas, or maybe when you started playing you didn't realize how good they were. And we didn't know that how well they're going to fit in with these Orange Piccolo Gohan teams, but man, they fit in well. And now I think a lot of people are regretting not having the Gammas because now they work so well with AGL Gohan's transformation. So I'm hoping they come back soon for y'all, but they could be a unit that I don't think comes back for quite a while. We'll see. I think there is a chance if JP wants to make the anniversary really fire, they toss these Gammas onto the anniversary banners. Then in Global, we're looking at July is when you'll get them, but at least you'll know when they're coming. And that might be the soonest we could get them on Global. The other place I could see them coming is maybe on like the Golden Week or Saiyan Day banners, because those will be really hype, and definitely some time will have passed. They could be due by then. So if you're looking for Gammas, I'm thinking at the soonest, probably Saiyan Day or Golden Week, which is going to be like March or May, kind of in that range, right? So it's going to be in the spring. I don't think in February these Gammas are coming back. JP, once again, they could for anniversary. But if they're on the anniversary banner in JP, that means we're not getting them until July. Now, the one thing with selling Gohan's EZA is some people are thinking maybe it's tied to the anniversary. The thing with that, and I really hope they're not because I don't want to wait until June or July to get them, is, you know, they haven't started their countdown celebration yet. I don't think they've actually started anything for anniversary yet. And I think it technically selling Gohan are on the New Year's events, right? And that's the thing. We're in New Year's right now for Global. The New Year's event still has some time. The one hope, if you guys all want to have some copium with me and have some, or I'll call it hopium, if you want to have some hopium with me that selling Gohan are still coming. If you guys remember when the Super Saiyan 4 TURs first EZA'd, they got announced on JP like right away. We were in a same time celebration. Global got the news announcements and they weren't in there. And then what happened was like literally at the last second, they did a quick data download and threw them in, and they still came to Global. And I believe it was maybe only like a few days later or something like that. So that is your hopium for possibly selling Gohan still coming. We'll see. But anyways, guys, there you go. There was Stage 9 completely obliterated. Stay tuned for Part 4, and thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.